We are live. It's My Fight Show, episode 1. I am about 10 minutes late. If you know me, that's kind of the time that we're normally running on. We got a lot to talk to today. Many of people, a lot going on in the combat sports world. I probably put too much on my plate today because we're going to have a couple fighters from APFC, a couple fighters from FightWorld 41, and we've got Freddie Fame himself coming in to talk about a beautiful thing. No, that's just not his face. That's going to be the upcoming Duke City Championship Wrestling event on Saturday night. Saturday night, don't forget to join us live, the Cage Minds YouTube. It's going to be Cage Minds Live. We're going to have James Romero, Fight World headliner, joining me and Robbie Gutierrez from Robbie Ray Images right here in studio. To get the fun started today, we have our first guest, Elijah Lucero from Nobody's Villains. I like the shirt, man. How you doing?
Good. Pretty good today. Heck yeah. Yeah, this is Mr. Hot
Getting
Tuffy.
ready,
Yeah.
getting ready for APFC 21 amateur MMA. We've seen you do the kickboxing. How excited are you?
Oh, I'm excited, brother. I'm built for this. I'm built for this stage. I'm built for this opportunity for sure. I've been working tremendously hard every day.
We've seen you at Nowhere to Run in the kickboxing, the Muay Thai realm, and there's this almost scowl. Like right now you're happy, but there's this like scowl that comes over your face before competing. What's that alter ego like?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just kind of whoever I'm going against. I mean, just I feel like it's honestly how the camp goes too. I mean, I'm a personal trainer now, so I've learned my body to the T. Uh, Losing weight, just feeling unstoppable throughout the camp, staying healthy. I feel like just the better camp, the better I feel going into a fight.
It's been a couple years now that we've seen you competing. What led you to the MMA, to the martial arts journey?
Um, I guess when I was younger, I just watched like Conor McGregor videos all the time, and I was kind of like, I want to be that. And then I started jujitsu maybe end of my senior year in like 2022, and then I met John Dotson, and he invited me to his 10 a.m. fight team class, and then I got pieced up first day, getting dropped by pros, and then I just started showing up, and I was like, I guess this is kind of what I need to improve. And from then, I just learned discipline, dedication. Just every day, I just come and grind my ass off, learning how to do it at the best skill I can.
It's not an unfamiliar story for many fighters. What is it about getting punched in the face that is not a deterrent but almost draws you into loving it more?
I mean, like I feel like at every fight you're nervous, right? I mean, at some point you don't even want to go in there anymore. But after every fight I've had, I'm just like, damn, this is the funnest thing I've ever had, funnest thing I've ever done, for sure. And I guess that just
You've
keeps
done
on
it
leading
in
me to come back.
You've done it in the ring. How much different now is the aspect of starting the MMA journey, not just doing the kickboxing, but the smaller gloves, the full-blown grappling, doing MMA?
I fought in Fight World 38 in March not in the beginning of this year. Fight there. So that was my first MMA fight, and I mean, I kind of yeah, it feels great. I mean, I just wanted to actually do everything, so started there, and now I'm going to the big show, and I'm excited to get there. But yeah, I'm more of a profound striker for sure. But I started in the grappling area, and it didn't go bad in my last fight. I actually got a takedown. So, I mean, I'm skilled in all areas, and that's why I'm confident going into this fight for sure.
What did you learn from that first opportunity?
Um, like I mean, with my coach too, I feel like I go against good fighters. The last guy I fought, his name's Alejandro from Fitting HB. He was 3-0 in kickboxing. I mean, he's good. I know him. I knew him personally, and I knew there was gonna be a fight. And just knowing I could take a dub on top of him, and then in my last kickboxing fight against Andrew, who was 3-0 at the time too, and 6 years of experience, and we went to fucking war. it was kind of like, yeah, I mean, I know I could do this. That's kind of just what get from single one.
Is a war what you're expecting at APFC 21 on Sunday, November 23rd, when you take on Eric Ortega?
I mean, I don't want to be in the war, but I'm definitely. I mean, if it happens, it happens, right? He is a shorter opponent, so I expect him to come trying to walk me down. But as we know, if you've seen me fight, I'm very flashy, and you can run into some shit that could take you out, and that's what I obviously plan to do.
Was that something that you planned to be? Did you look at it and say, I want to throw these flashy strikes? Or was that something that during training just kind of
Yeah,
came out of you as
yeah.
natural?
I mean, yeah. I guess when I just started striking, I just liked the spinning stuff, and then it kind of just flowed with me. And John's a great coach, leading me into that. He saw what I liked, and he's like, "All right, we can build off of that." And and then I just kept on building with it. And I'm pretty athletic, and I tend to try to be more athletic every day by strength and conditioning. So it's just it's just how it came together for sure.
How do you plan to be a better fighter, a more polished product in this fight?
I want to finish. That's for sure. I got to finish my first fight. Went to war my second, and decision my third. And yeah, I want to finish. I want to stay composed. I feel like I've stayed composed on all my fights, and that's what I really like of myself. It doesn't look like amateurs out there. Uh, my last fight, I feel like we looked pretty dang good, and I just want to keep on looking good out there. I don't want to look like there's two amateurs out there. I want to look like I'm a pro, because I know I'm pro level skill, and I know I want to go out there looking like it.
This was a long time in the making. I appreciate you joining me today. And with both of our internet kind of going in and out, I think we're going to cut this one at the moment. Definitely won't be the last, though, sir. I appreciate you taking some time before training tonight for a little chat.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, brother. Later.
Elijah Lucero, everybody, APFC 21. His amateur journey continues. I've seen him kickbox several times at nowhere to run. He said it. He's lengthy for the weight class at 125, 135. He likes to throw together a lot of flashy spinning strikes. He's an exciting prospect. I can't wait to see what is in store. Him and Eric Ortega. We're going to have more from APFC 21 here in a little bit when we're joined by the barber, Gabe Bencomo. Whole ton of action going on this weekend, though. There's the UFC 322 card. We're going to have the live stream on the Cage Minds YouTube channel, Cage Minds Live. James Romero, headliner for Fight World 41 on Saturday, November 22nd. Going to be joining me and Robbie Gutierrez live here in studio for about 2 to 3 hours of fun talking about the UFC and getting deep into James's journey. That's this Saturday. You also have BKFC 84. Before I get off this stream, we will have a preview of one of their most stacked cards of the year. Lorenzo Hunt is coming back to challenge Josh Dyer for a belt that Lorenzo never lost. So you know the Juggernaut is angry about that one. And if you're local this weekend and you're a pro wrestling fan, there's only one place to be, and that's going to be the El Rey Theater. It's a beautiful thing, Duke City Championship Wrestling. And the man that starts off the show every month is going to be joining us right now. We're welcoming in quickly guest number 2, the beautiful face that
Hello.
is Freddie Frame. How you doing?
Micah, thank you for having me on the program. Long time since you and I have been able to sit down and do this. I don't know what everyone knows, but you and I historically did a lot of terrestrial radio together until the powers that be tried to keep us apart. But in a classic Hatfield McCoy, we have found our way back together to civility. I'm excited to be here. Big fan of your website. Excited about your new project. Thank you for including Duke City Championship Wrestling in it. Also, before we transition to us, what Anthony Pettis is doing is very, very good right now. What he is bringing to New Mexico, what he's doing through his promoter's license, bringing in some of the names like Demetrius Johnson and working with the local guys, and everything he does, partnered with John Dotson, is huge. If you're a fan of combat sports, absolutely locally take the time to go support them. They put on a very good product, not just in the octagon, but everything that surrounds it too.
Yeah, no, Fred can't underscore that enough. With APFC, Demetrius Johnson, Raul Rosa, Sergio Pettis, our very own former UFC interim welterweight world champion, Carlos Condon. So you got four superstars that are going to be live in attendance for a meet and greet. It's a huge weekend where we got FightWorld, John Judy, everything he's put on Saturday, November 22nd. You jump to the next day on the 23rd, and you get the huge APFC event. That's next weekend. Your company is taking the stage this weekend, and I'm really excited because it's our first event with Saleh Taylor as the champion.
Oh, you're excited about that. So you're one of the few. Like, you're in the minority on this one, Mike. Saleh Taylor relinquishing Hobo Hank of his Duke City Championship Wrestling title last month at Hard Reset. It was incredibly difficult, right? The finale, the end, the culmination of Saleh Taylor's efforts, and you can't say Saleh Taylor alone because he's never been alone in his life, right? The assistance of Ronan, and all of a sudden Brian Idol enraged after losing the 6-6 title. You know, Brian Idol is currently holding the television title for the NWA, the oldest professional wrestling organization in the country, the best independent wrestling organization in the country. He decided to, in our main event, one of the top 500 PWI ranked pro wrestlers in the world, to interview Hobo Hank, the hometown hero, and allow Saleh Taylor to stand victorious, and not just victorious over all of Duke City Championship Wrestling, over Hobo Hank, but victorious over me as I lay lifeless in the ring, taking a power slap from John Dotson's wife, Chelsea Dotson, leaving me not just embarrassed, but leaving me small in front of a crowd that I'm so very proud to always be in front of. So this Saturday, that story does continue. Duke City Championship Wrestling. It's a beautiful thing. This Saturday, you can get tickets at dccwtickets.com. You kind of know how the 10 days are before a show, Micah. They are going like crazy. So if you want ringside, I think they're all actually cooked. But there are some there are some premium seats available. GA is kind of always available, but sit, don't stand for this one, because we give you 2 hours and 15 minutes of pro wrestling at the highest caliber. And this iron is hot. Monday Night Raw was just here in Albuquerque. First time a television airing of WWE was in the city of Albuquerque. It was actually Rio Rancho in over 20 years. This city is rich and fresh with pro wrestling, and we're excited to be a part of it.
I'm excited, not just because Saleh is the champion, but because now Ronan has to go and take on Hobo Hank and has to actually own up to some of what he got involved with last month. That means he stepped in it.
Yeah, he's going to receive what he deserves. How about that? You're going to get what you deserve, Ronan. And also this match, I tried to get the Hobo Hank rematch. I tried to say, go get Saleh Taylor right now. Make it the shortest reign in Duke City Championship Wrestling history as far as the title. He said no, he's going to go through them in the order that they deserve it. And he picked Ronan first. So Hobo Hank and Ronan, they're not leading off the show. It's going to be a big special part of the show. We do have a triple threat match. We do a tag team wrestling. Brian Idol will face Turbo Tony. So hopefully the hometown get a little retribution in this one. Johnny Magna will take on Dirty Dan, and what has turned out to be a just real kind of two individuals from a hometown, and this town doesn't seem to be big enough for for both of them. So you're going to watch those two battle in a grudge. And then Lonzo and the returning Chris Watson, who worked for me at Portales. We did the gimmick for the tailgate a couple weeks ago. He's not the good guy he used to be. So you get ready for him. He's going to come in and do bad things. But Ronan will take a butt whipping from Hobo Hank, and you can see that in person this Saturday.
Lonzo, he debuted last month.
Yeah.
Well, last event, just over a month ago, and you get the little low rider driving, and you can tell he got the connection. You could feel that heart of the South Valley kind of belonged in downtown Albuquerque vibe that he gave off. And I think there's a lot of big things possible for him in just how that character connects with the audience.
Yeah, Lonzo Romero or Lonzo the Chicano or the lowrider Lonzo, I need to apologize to, because we should have a long time ago brought him in. What he's done at Black and Brave, he's from Albuquerque. He grew up in the 505. He's Burke through and through. And pro wrestling didn't have the opportunity here up until Duke City Championship Wrestling to put on monthly television. You know, it was not an option in this community. So what did he do? He left. You know, he went to Iowa. He went to Black and Brave. He learned from the best in the business. He learned from Seth Rollins. He learned from his team. And he had to leave home to return home. And I failed him for many, many years, not having him in this organization sooner. And I am sorry to him. I am sorry to his fan base, because he is now here. He is now a prominent fixture. And I know he's going to do it in a bad way, but as a good guy, and get ready to go out and celebrate him. The building came alive for him, which I've only seen come alive maybe 2 other times, maybe for a Tommy Two Scoops or a Hobo Hank. But he is established in the world of pro wrestling, and he is a guy who does it literally at the highest level. He's learned from Seth freaking Rollins. He's as talented as they get.
Coming from that Black and Brave lineage, as you mentioned, we've seen some other guys turbo test Tommy Two Scoops, and they have went up to that region, and we've heard about the work that is put in up there. To see that kind of work ethic and professionalism come down here, it's just a little bit different of a feel, the Midwest feel from what the presentation is here. So I like how that all comes together. I'm really also interested, and I think the fans saw it on social media. Sancho Martinez took a chair to Thunder's back in the gym. I could only think that that adds to the animosity coming in this triple threat match.
Yeah, that's an interesting, right? The Thungeon is the official training partner of Duke City Championship Wrestling. If you want to learn to pro wrestle and you want to have an opportunity to work for Duke City Championship Wrestling, that's your pipeline here in town, right? And that's headed by Thunder. You know, it's called the Thungeon. You know, it's his entity, and it's located where? Right in the heart of town, right? That's San Mateo and Manal, and anyone has access to it. If you're there on the nights we're training, you come in, you want to be a part of it, and clever ploy, right, by Sancho. Clever ploy to take what should be an inviting space, a warm space, a comfortable space, a place to learn, and a place to take the art that is pro wrestling and craft it, and he abused that. And I tell you what, that abuse is going to be returned to he in a triple threat, as him and Triste, who is returning to Duke City Championship Wrestling. First time in a long time. The last time we had him was last year. He's part of a big battle royale, stole the show, and we've tried to have him back since. He's just too damn booked. He's busy all the time. He works every local show that goes on that isn't us, a lot with Phase One. He does a ton in the Arizona area. He does a ton in the Texas area, and we're so fortunate to have him back. He's going to be a little bit of a wild card in this one. So watch for Thunder to try to get his retribution against Sancho. And it's going to be this Saturday night. Micah, cannot stress that to you. Live at the El Rey Theater. Doors at 6. First bell at 7. If you show up late, you're missing out. Like, do not. Like, and also we do all that, you know, we got the pizza gimmick, we got the face painting, and we got the caricature artist, and we got the merch, like all the pro wrestling gimmicks. We got the 50-50 raffle giveaways with Joel Ruda's replica titles. By the way, speaking of replica titles, you can get them at Duke City Toys. You're like, Fred, why are you mentioning Duke City Toys? We're not doing sponsor plugs, because on December the 13th, Sting is coming to town live from Duke City Toys, where you can go and meet the icon over the course of this little 3-hour run they're doing. And it's his final, next to his final time in gimmick. He's getting rid of the Crow gimmick after this year. His last chance to see Sting in person here in Albuquerque at Duke City Toys. I tell you what, pro wrestling is hotter than it's ever been in this community, Micah.
Last month, I shed a couple tears as we had to load you into the ambulance after
you
what
helped me out.
Force did.
You saved me.
I might be weeping like a baby, though, when I meet Sting.
Well, that's a special thing. I've met Sting before. You know, I've had a real fortunate broadcast live terrestrial radio and Super Bowls and World Series and WrestleManias, and I'm a guy who's not confused on how lucky I've been. And some of these individuals that have shaped this industry. I've been able to be in front of and ask really stupid questions, and they've been so kind to me. And Sting is one of those individuals. You're going to love meeting him. Yeah, for those that don't know, Mike is not just the talk show host that you know him as. He's not just the MMA expert that you know him as. He's not just the combat sports expert. He's a vital part of Duke City Championship Wrestling. And as I laid literally lifeless, I don't know if you brought out smelling salts or if you slapped me across the face. That's how little I can remember after getting slapped across the face. But you were the first face I saw as I came back to consciousness, and you helped me out of the ring. And I was shoeless for some reason, to the back where you immediately told me that everything is okay except for you. And that's all I needed to hear in that moment. I was alive again after the show, and we're going to see how I respond. Because don't think for a second I'm going to let all those digressions go unanswered.
Your giant hand going over my face as you were unconscious, and I think you were trying to fight us off for a second. You nearly poked me in the eye, man. It was quite the scene. I'm glad to see, though, that we didn't have to put you on the IR. There was no disabled list. That a couple weeks off, and you're ready for this weekend.
Yeah, I don't know how I got there, and I don't know how I left. That is often the story of pro wrestling, though, right? Like, and you can continue. And if you've been a fan of us and a supporter of us for a long time, thank you. It means the world to me. If you're just now finding the opportunity to come out and see us, we do a real fun recap at the beginning of every show. You will be part of it. And if you can't figure it out quickly, I promise you the audience will help you. DCCWtickets.com for this upcoming show this Saturday night. Limited tickets available, but they are there. So go get them if you want to be a part of what we're doing. I know you got a ton coming up, Micah, so I will bow myself out. Who's next for you?
Real quick, before I let you go, I did want to ask you, because we were there at Monday Night Raw, what your opinion was of Dom Mysterio, because I feel like it's without question, he has superstar potential written all over him.
Yeah, he's the pedigree, right? I mean, that family is going to work their name into some of the historic ones, right? The Races and the Funks and the Rhodes and the Flairs, and Mysterio is going to be one of those, and I left out a name that's going to upset somebody listening to this, and that's important because that's how important those legacy families are in pro wrestling. And he is, I think, on the fastest track age-wise as anyone who's ever been on it and being successful in the ring. That big Monday, not the one we went to, not the Raw here in Albuquerque, but last night, losing the last night at the time of recording, losing the Intercontinental Championship to John Cena to allow him to become the Grand Champ or the Grand Slam champion. That highlight will be in the WWE forever. When anyone recaps John Cena, when anyone talks about his career, that highlight of Rey Mysterio going under, Dominic Mysterio going under, is forever a part of history. And not do you always get a forever iconic moment, and he was part of one. And it was a big deal. Also, he was like a top 20 IC reign of all time. Like, the dude's dialed in right now.
When you are able to cut off, you interrupt the John Cena promo, it speaks volumes of what the company thinks you to get that rub, to get that screen time. There are limited appearances for an all-time great left, and you get to share some of that ring time. I just wanted to get your thought on it, because a whole lot of great, I think, coming from Dom Mysterio.
Yeah, incredibly good, incredibly smart. The booking is there. Also with the going away, and I'm going to be at Survivor Series. I'm going to be at John Cena's final match in DC. I wouldn't be surprised if Dominic Mysterio has more of a story in this, and if it is the return of a Chris Jericho, or if it's the return of an Edge, or if it's one of these iconic matchups that John Cena has had, there's going to be an opportunity here for Dominic to have another role, right? And then I imagine it'll bleed into Rey Mysterio. I imagine you'll get them at WrestleMania. It'll end up being something really special. And that's because WWE trust him. Also, you got to be real good to put a tattoo like that on your neck and not catch any heat. He's real good.
And then add to it.
Yeah.
That guy is something special. I'm loving to see what he's doing, loving the annoyance. And even though he lost one belt, he's still the mega champion. I think that AAA belt will play a big factor in upcoming things.
Mm-hmm.
It's great getting to talk wrestling with Freddie Fame. Everybody, Duke City Championship Wrestling, El Rey Theater, doors at 6, shows at 7. It's
Yeah.
a beautiful thing Saturday night.
If you allow me to jump out of promo for 1 second, I am at every show. I am so very fortunate. And if you come, please say hi to me. Please take the time. I want to say thank you to you who do take the time to come out. It is a powerful connection between the fans of the product we create and the product itself. And I'm being that bridge, Micah, means the world to me.
Dude, you get out there, you meet the people, we see the smiles on the kids' faces, and that's probably the best part of being a part of the company is seeing that reaction and seeing the returning customers each month.
Thank you, brother. You're the best at this.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, there was Freddie, and right now we are loading up, and as we're blazing through it, we've already got Elijah Lucero. I wish the internet connection would have been a little bit better so we could have got more out of that great young martial artist. But as we're thinking about APFC 21, again, Sunday, November 23rd at Isleta Resort and Casino, a part of the amateur card. You can see the background. He's there at SFS putting in the work right now. And of course, always repping the horror. He is the barber, Gabe Bencomo. Can you hear me, sir?
Can't hear me.
One more time, Gabe, can you hear me?
Can't reach there, no. Can you hear me?
Gabe Bencomo. Yeah, I got you good.
Let me log out and log back in. Can we try that?
Okay. Gabe Bencomo. I think you guys heard that. I heard it. He's going to log out, log back in, having a little issue hearing me. He is the barber. You see him get down at Barber Gabe's Fades. That's here at Lobo Plaza, the northeast corner, Albuquerque, New Mexico. If you're at the intersection on Central and Coors, a longtime wrestler who has been under the training of Freddie Sandoval for quite some time. At one point, Gabe was a heavyweight, and now he's dropped all the way down to middleweight. We're talking about a huge transformation that we've seen you undergo. And now this is the second time at 185. Welcome to the show. Can you hear me this time?
Yes, I can hear you good.
Oh, sweet. We got him. Hey, Gabe, how you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing well. Whole bunch of busyness, running a little bit late like normal. How's camp going for you?
Oh, it's going great. Feel good, training hard, weight's exactly where it needs to be at. Feel really good.
There was a dramatic weight loss we saw in between fights where you went from heavyweight to middleweight. How are you feeling now the second time around getting down to middleweight?
If I could put it one way, it would be that if I were to fight myself for my last fight, I would destroy myself, if that makes any kind of sense. I feel great. I feel stronger than ever.
Feeling stronger than ever. You said you were going to take the strength and conditioning program in a different direction. What has that been like now, putting in the extra effort with the weights?
It's been really good. You know, I've learned to fall back in love with weightlifting. I truly could say throughout this whole adult fighting career, I did not do any weightlifting at all. Since I was a heavyweight, I did not like it. I hated it. I hated it in high school when I played football. I never liked it, but I've learned to fall in love with it because I'm starting to see the results more now that I've lost a lot of weight, so I'm starting to see it. Like, I'm starting to get veins on my arms that I've never had before. I get all excited. I'm like, oh shit, I unlocked a new vein on my arm, and so putting in work with the weights has made a huge difference overall in every aspect.
I got to imagine, and hi, Freddie in the background there, that it felt different at the last Fight World. It was different being in the cage at 190, 195 versus the 220, 230 before. Like, what was that different feeling being in there, moving around under the lights? I'm sure it was different.
Oh man, it was completely different. No excuses. My opponent did everything that he should have done to win the fight. Hats off to him. Respect. Um, I just didn't do my part, and what I mean by that is I didn't trust myself in that lower weight class. I was extremely gun shy, and I was just thinking too much. I wasn't trusting myself in with my weight. It felt different not being able to grab someone and have that weight on me. And truly, even at heavyweight, I was never fighting at 230. I was always going into fight camp around 285, cutting to 265, and then fight night I would be like 270. And then my last fight I weighed in at 182, I believe, and then I think for fight night I was barely 192, barely. And this time around I put on some weight. I put on some weight again and really, really dialed in the strength training a lot and being confident in my strength and in my ability to know what I can do. That just wasn't there last time, and that's all it was. It was on me. It was no excuses of preparation. I did everything right. I trained super hard. Just just didn't pull the trigger enough.
We talked about you being at the stature disadvantage, and it was the right idea to come down and wait. You walk into your first fight, and again, the guy is like 6'3"
Yeah. You talking about my first fight as a heavyweight or middleweight?
as a middleweight.
Oh yeah. I walked in there, and I was like, I fought dudes way bigger than this. You know, Given the guy was tall, but I was that doesn't scare me. Like I fought some big scary dudes. I think I fought one of the scariest heavyweights in the Southwest for my first fight on very short notice. And if that couldn't get me scared, there ain't gonna be nothing or no one that will. You know.
Isaiah Zamora is going to be the opponent this time around. What do you know about him? I know coming out of elite kickboxing, and he has a knockout. He's coming off of a first round head kick knockout. His first win as an amateur. What are you thinking about the matchup?
I think it's a great fight. I know he comes from an amazing team. Really good people, really great coaches. Nothing but respect for that team and them. So I know they're gonna be coming down here to fight, to put on a show, and I know they're gonna be extremely prepared. So it's gonna be a good night to show everybody in Albuquerque and everybody around the world that's gonna be watching on the YouTube page or the UFC Fight Pass, wherever my fight lands on. It's gonna be a good show to watch and finally be able to show off the hard work that I've really been putting in. Putting it all together.
What was the plan of action besides the strength and conditioning to make the necessary improvements to be able to be the assertive Gabe that you were as a heavyweight and have that confidence to let the hands go?
Um, Truly just repetition, repping things that I know I'm good at, and repping and really putting myself in like those shark tanks of things that I'm not good at. And really just getting that confidence back on knowing I could be able to bully someone around and really push the pace and just be in someone's face and not just be so gun shy. As a heavyweight, I went out there and I was always in their face, never backed up, and just kept on and kept on. And when I lost that weight, I just felt a lot different being way lighter. People been able to grab me and move me around more so than whenever I was 260, being grounded so much. I had to relearn how to ground myself and know my center of balance the way I was before. And being a really good wrestler really does help kind of speed up that process. If that makes any type of sense.
If you are a client of Gabe's and you go over to the barber shop, you already know Halloween, his favorite time of year. The horror themes
Got it right
are
here.
extensive.
Oh
What
yeah.
led to that initial love of horror?
My mom, when I was a little kid, she showed me Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, and for some reason, I watched it and I was just infatuated with Halloween and Michael Myers and just the vibe around it and just the decorations and the feeling that you get around Halloween and the movies, everything that comes with it. I just feel like it's kind of like the beginning of the best part of the year for me, which is the holidays and around family and friends. And I think it just all of that put together, just Halloween to me kind of seems like it's like the start of that for me.
Is it just Halloween? Is it, or are there many other kind of series that you're into when it comes to the horror genre?
Oh, I love everything horror, but my favorite is Michael Myers Halloween. But I love everything, man. I mean, I have a whole room in my home dedicated to Michael Myers and Terrifier. And then my movie theater in my house, I have a movie theater upstairs and I have signed posters of Scream and Terrifier and Halloween and just everything. I just have so much. And then my daughter loves Michael Myers as well. So that was just like a big bonus that she ended up loving Michael Myers as well.
The horror fan that you are, you're also an entrepreneur. I don't know how many people know it because we got Barber Gabe. So he's got the barber shop going on, but then we also got Zia Stitching. We've got sticker design. I heard there's a roofing company. What gave you the mindset to become so industrious, to be an entrepreneur in so many different avenues?
I wouldn't say what gave it. I would say who. It would be my father. Since I was a kid, my dad was an extremely hard worker. Um, he was the account manager for Coca-Cola Bottling Company in Santa Fe, and he retired from there. And he's not a lazy person. He was retired, living good, and he was like, I can't just sit around. And he decided to start a roofing company and go back to what he did when he was younger, and ended up deciding to open up a roofing company. And then, you know, um, me being younger, I always loved cutting hair. I always loved being at the barber shop. Out of all my brothers, I was the only one that always bugged my father to go to the barber shop every week with him. And one summer, I was in trouble for fighting actually, and I wasn't allowed to leave the house or anything. So my little cousin was sleeping over, and he was like, I gotta get a haircut. I was like, I got you. I can cut your hair. And I did not know what I was doing. And I took the clippers that were in the bathroom and messed up his hair. And I fell in love with it. I ended up trading my mom my brand new iPod Touch for a $20 pair of clippers at Family Dollar. And that $20 pair of clippers turned into giving me the life I have now and the ability to start doing things that I wanted to do since I was a little kid, which is making custom garments. I've always loved sewing, and I've always loved creating art and drawing and stuff like that. So it's just given me the opportunity to be able to do everything I've ever wanted.
All these multiple outlets. You've always known that you were this artistic?
Yes, since I was a little kid, I could remember my grandfather and my mom. They still have my first business card where I used to sell books. I used to write short stories, and I would go around the neighborhood and I would print them out and I would sell short stories that had full stories, little, like I think like 4 chapters. And I would have drawings. I would make copies, and then I would also sell keychains. I would go to house and show them different colors. I would make orders, go home, make them, and then go deliver them. So since I was a little kid, I was like maybe 8 years old. My mom would drive me around the neighborhood, and I would do that.
Always been on the hustle. That is amazing. And
Yeah.
gotta ask, you mentioned those trips to the barbershop. How special were those drives and sitting there waiting for the cuts, being able to have those moments with your father?
Oh, they were extremely special. I'll never forget them, and although I don't have a son myself to be able to share those same type of things that my father did with me, I have nephews that they come into my barbershop and they feel the same type of vibes that I felt as a kid. You walk in, you're greeted by everybody, and you hear the conversations, you see the different types of people that come in, from all ages, babies all the way up to old men, and they come in with these stories, and everyone has their own problems and everyone has their own backstory, and just being able to hear everything and just be a part of that and be a small part in someone's life that at some point, that haircut meant the world to them, or that haircut made them feel amazing, whether it be for their wedding or for a family's death, for like a funeral or something. It's something very special. And being a kid, going to the barbershop, waking up super early to just put our names down for a haircut and hanging out with my father, going and getting breakfast and everything, it was always something really special.
What's going through your mind? What are you thinking? Because I see the hair's getting longer. I know for the last fight, you kind of had the war braids are. What's the thought process when those are getting put in?
Thought process behind that is just, if you ask anybody at the gym or anybody around me, my thought process is if you look good, you're going to feel good and you're going to perform good. And that's just the way I've always felt, and I want to look good. And that's just the way it is. Right now, I grow my hair. I get a haircut every like 5 days. But when it's fight camp, I always wait the last 2 weeks to get a haircut. I don't do my beard. I don't do my hair. I just kind of let it grow out, grungy, and feel. I like to feel kind of like dirty and just, messed up. And then come the day of weigh-ins, I get my hair braided. I get my hair cut, and I go into weigh-ins feeling super, super good. Whether I was cutting weight or not, I know I look good and I feel good. And the following night, I'm gonna perform good.
What's the theme for the trunks, for the attire, for APFC 21? I know you always got something special in store.
Yeah, I think I'm known for having really dope designs on shorts, or I make dope designs for my teammates and other fighters. I gotta keep it local, like I always do. I'm very proud of where I'm from, Albuquerque. So you'll see a Zia symbol on there, like always. But I would say I don't want to give it away. I would say it's very themed to the land that we're fighting on. If that makes sense.
All right, all right. We'll be on the lookout for that one. And got to know, did you go grab a Lobo jersey yet? You were looking for the turquoise ones, and I saw they
I
came out.
did. I did. I went early in the morning and I had to wait in line. I was third in line and I went and got it customized. It was pretty dope. Beautiful jersey.
You're going to be fighting on a card that's promoted by Anthony Pettis. Demetrius Johnson's going to be there. Carlos
Yeah.
Condon's going to be there. Sergio Pettis is going to be there. Like, that has to mean something. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot, I grew up watching all those guys fight, seeing Carlos Condit fight GSP, seeing Anthony Pettis freaking jump off the cage and kick Ben Henderson, that seeing that stuff and knowing that I'm gonna be able to have the opportunity to perform in front of them is, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, for someone from Albuquerque, in my opinion. I know we have had a lot of fighters come out of here and make it to the top, but being able to fight in front of them so early on in my career is something truly special. And since I've signed my contract, everybody from the promotion has been super, super helpful and communicating. And given they're such a big promotion, they are extremely, really, like they're really, really good at communicating and getting answers right away. And I'm really, really excited to fight for them. And hopefully in the future, they like what they see and they want to take me out where they're in their other shows in all these other states and maybe out of the country. I think that'll be really, really dope.
What would make you proud of your performance? What are the goals for this fight?
Obviously to win. Obviously to win is the goal. There's no other option. But no matter what happens on any given day, you know, everyone has their chance. What I would say would make me proud would be just to do better than my last fight. Be better, push harder, and just fight as hard as I possibly can. And at the end of the day, you know what? That is going to get the job done, because the preparation that I have right now, it just every single time, every single fight camp, it gets harder and harder and harder.
The intensity is leveling up. The journey is continuing. You're getting deeper in there. Looks like you're still smiling and loving it.
Oh yeah, I am. I love it so much.
Gabe
You have to.
Bencomo.
You have to embrace the grind. You have to. You have to love it. Otherwise, why are you doing it? You know what I'm saying? We go out there and we, especially as amateurs, we go out there and we get punched in the face, and the the risk of being embarrassed in front of your friends and family. You know, you gotta love it. You gotta be. You gotta embrace the grind and embrace the pain, and that's what I do, and I love it.
I appreciate you, sir. Thank you for taking the time out of training tonight to jump on here with us.
Of course, thank you. And hey, and don't forget, the night before, my teammate John Marino, undefeated champion for FightWorld, is going to be defending his belt. Don't forget, get your tickets to that as well.
Guys, that was the barber. That was Gabe Bencomo. Barber Gabe's Fades here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Lobo Plaza, the northeast corner of the intersection at Coors and Central. Appreciate him jumping in, giving an interview. You're going to have a massive weekend of MMA action next weekend. We're talking about Fight World 41 on Saturday, November 22nd, Revel Entertainment Center. And we did not forget about John Moreno, because tomorrow morning, cageminds.com, we're going to upload it. We do have an interview with John Wick Moreno, the defending amateur lightweight champion, ahead of his fight with Marvin Sandoval. That one will be live on YouTube tomorrow morning. I mean, the upload will be up there. We're not going to be live again. We are live right here for my fight show. The first hour is down. A little chaotic. I meant to start at the top of the hour. I messed that all up. We jumped in about 10 minutes late. I'm just running late. That's kind of how things go. Little bit of internet trouble. That's why did not get the desired adequate kind of high quality interview that I was hoping with Elijah Lucero from Nobody's Villains. He's also going to be on that APFC 21 card. So if you're watching this on the internet, we keep talking about Albuquerque, New Mexico. That is the home base. But if you wanted to watch that APFC 21 card, that's available on UFC Fight Pass. And I believe that the prelims are available on the APFC YouTube page. So you're going to be able to watch the whole thing. If you haven't got your free trial yet with UFC Fight Pass, this is the perfect time to do so. You get the free week. You'll be able to see the local fights. That is on Sunday. That is on the 23rd. On the 22nd, Revel is the only place that you can watch Fight World. It's going to be a great card. James Romero, who's going to be joining me here in studio Saturday for Cage Minds Live, alongside Robbie Gutierrez from Robbie Ray Images. We're going to be able to pick his brain, talk about his journey as we watch UFC 322, just like we did watching UFC 321 with APFC 21 headliner Jalen Fuller. So we are trying to do everything we can to tell you about the great action coming up here live and locally next weekend. We got more guests in store for you guys. Was expecting Hondo Gutierrez to accept his invite, waiting to see if he's available. So hopefully, we're going to hear from Hondo Gutierrez in a moment. Until then, I'm going to actually check up on him real quick, see if we can make any sense of what's going on. Doesn't look like we're getting a response on our efforting. We are trying to still effort for Hondo Gutierrez, Fit and HB. Anybody from Fit and HB watching right now, someone poke Hondo, remind him that he's supposed to be on this live stream, just like he was scheduled for last week. I'm going to give him ish about this when we talk to him again about setting a reminder in his calendar. I digress. Huge week of action in the MMA world, and that's coming off of what was an absolute massive weekend last weekend. You had a victorious Gabriel Bonfim in the main event of UFC Vegas. Spectacular knockout of Rude Boy Randy Brown. Now, I know some people felt that one was controversial. Pulled down the head, got the knee. Brown is out as he's plummeting towards the ground. Might have woken back up into consciousness, but it was a good call. Some were upset about the stoppage. I don't think that was necessary. I think it was a very justified, very good stoppage from my perspective. Full results are up at cagebinds.com for the UFC Fight Night from Vegas, where you had just incredible action. So many finishes. Josh Hokett, Jackson Wink with a heavyweight prospect, the former San Francisco 49er. You can go over to the website. We did talk to him last week. I'm going to reach out one more time, see if we can send an invite over to Hondo Gutierrez. So if we cut out momentarily, people, be right back. We are hoping to get on Hondo. He fought for Cage Fury Fighting Championships, CFFC, in Tampa a couple weeks ago. 17-second knockout. Big time prospect, really at 135 pounds on the regional scene. He gets that call to UFC. It may be worth revisiting the thought process of 125 pounds for Hondo. But right now, his length, his frame, being on the regional scene, I think that 135 might be just the best idea to not put unnecessary weight cut, unnecessary strain on his body. He's a large 125. I think 125 could be the optimal path to become a world champion. We're going to see what he thinks about. He did answer me back, so efforting him right now still continues as we're going to be here till 8 o'clock. Got Dion Valdez, J5 MMA from the FightWorld 41 card joining us at 7:30. So hopefully before we get to the bottom of the hour, we can get Hondo Gutierrez on the show. Well, we got some time. Let's touch on some news and notes from the combat sports world, because that's where I want to take you, is all around that combat sports world. One thing that caught my eye, and I'm not sure if you've seen it yet, Ryan Bader, the former Bellator heavyweight champion, the Ultimate Fighter winner. Haven't heard of him in the regards to fighting in a while. He is going to be in action New Year's Eve card for Ryzen. Hey, look, all the efforting has worked. The effort has paid off. We're going to bring in Hondo Gutierrez right now.
How's it going?
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
So did you forget?
I did, brother. But I'm here. I'm here.
Just had it out.
I'm here.
Hondo Gutierrez is here. How you doing?
I'm good. Busy being a family man.
Right? We can even see over your shoulder there already the great photo, you and your daughter. Other
Oh,
shoulder.
yeah, look. Yes, sir.
Right? Family first.
Yes.
What's that like now, being a family man? We saw you in the gym since a kid, and now you're like in the same spot kind of your dad was the first time I met you.
It's more encouraging to get in that cage now that I have a family to do it for. So it's it gives me more of a strive to get that win.
Does it kind of blow your mind where you're at that you and your significant other, you guys were together for a long time, and just how everything has blossomed for you. Does it kind of blow your mind where you're at?
Not, yeah, I guess it's I'm living the perfect life right now. I have a family that loves me and I love them, and I'm knocking people out in the cage. I couldn't be more blessed right now.
It took us longer to get to that than your fight actually took. 17
Yeah,
seconds.
yeah,
Did you impress yourself with that one?
yeah. Me and my coach John Judy and Matt, we were in the back, and I was joking around because the fight before this, I was like, oh, the fight before this, I knocked the dude out in like 23 seconds, somewhere around there. And I was just joking around, I was like, oh, I'm gonna try to finish this guy faster, but everything fell in place, so I got the job done even faster this time.
What did you see? Was that just the game plan to throw that combination? Was it just that it was wide open? Like, how does the
So
17-second knockout come together?
yeah, so in the morning, well, when I do my morning warm up, usually when I fight, I do a morning warm up, and actually we were warming up, and I thought he was gonna come in wide, and I was gonna hit him with an uppercut, but when I hit him, or when I hit him the first time, like he swung or whatever, and I grabbed him, I hit him with an uppercut, and I split his eyebrow, and I could just see it in his eyes that he wanted to hit me real bad. And right when he got close to me, I saw him set his feet, and I just threw that right hand. I didn't even know he was swinging at me. I just knew that I can get him right when he set his feet. And I saw him fall. I thought I got the knockout, but he was popping right back up, so I hit him a couple more times.
It's a crazy sequence and a lot of action for 17 seconds to get
Yeah.
that job done. Do you realize at a point, like, you Google your name on social media and that knockout's coming up right away?
Yeah. Yeah, it feels good. It feels real good. I got a lot of popularity off of this knockout, but still focused and still striving for another win just like that if I can get it.
If I didn't know that you had been doing this for most of your life, a lot
Yeah.
of people would think that experience would be a disadvantage for you at a point, because with the way you're finishing fights, people are going to say they'd want to see you get some experience, but you have a lot of experience. And is that kind of what's leading to these first round finishes?
Of course, I think I trained with one of the top strikers, Ty Miller, and training with him every day, you know, it makes you good. He's fast and he's quick. I have to move. I have to use my footwork. I have to use my striking smart, or else I'll get. He'll get me. Ty's really good. So going in there every day in the gym and training with him is really good. And I've been all my life. I've been training with good fighters like Tim Means, Frank Baca, Ray Borg, just all these people, Charlie Brown, all these local fighters. These guys are really good, and I just grown up around it. They're like my family. So just 16, I think 16 years now of just hard work with real good veterans.
Somewhere around 13, 14 years ago when
Yeah,
I met you,
yeah.
you were already telling us that this is what was going to happen. At what age did you really believe it, or did you have that belief the whole time?
Man, I've always believed it. Even before I'd done this, I remember even before I went to fit, I remember my dad took me to a karate place, and I was looking at it, and I was like looking at what was going on, and then I found out you couldn't punch really in the face, so I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do MMA. So we ended up fighting the fit, and I think ever since then, watching the UFC and all that, I've just known that I've had it in me. You know, even before the gym, me and my dad, we would be training these like arm bars and guillotines and stuff like that since I was like 7, 6.
What kind of inspiration was it, not just growing up in that gym, seeing those illustrious fighters doing it, but the in the example that your dad was able to lay down, going to work every day and then still going to the gym also every night?
Of course, it's a big inspiration when your dad's doing it right next to you. You know what I mean? Not just yelling at you to, do your push-ups while he's just sitting on the side drinking a Coke or whatever. So it was a good inspiration seeing him fight, and then I ended up, I ended up fighting one of the guys he fought when he was an amateur. I ended up fighting him like 6 years after. So it's been pretty cool. And then, not everyone punches their dad in the face every Saturday, but at my gym, me and my dad would throw down because it was like the sparring day. So yeah, we have a different type of bond.
What was it like for you at that age watching him compete? Was it nerve-wracking or was it exciting?
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking, of course. I hate watching my family fight. I've watched my dad fight, but it was nerve-wracking, but I was excited. But when my brother fights, it's a totally different level of nerve. I get super nervous, shaking. I want to throw up. It's a different type of nerves. It's crazy.
See, I didn't know if it was going to be different watching Serge fight because you know how good he is. You've been
Yeah.
taking the whoopings and giving them to him for so long.
Yeah.
You put together 3 first-round finishes in a row. What is it like? Because only one of those has happened here at FightWorld. What is it like
Yeah.
starting to lead that pro life, getting out, hearing the boos, going and shutting someone else down in their hometown?
It's the best feeling in the world hearing somebody else's name being called in the stands and you just put their lights out. There's no other feeling like it. I couldn't explain to you another feeling of just putting a man's lights out in front of his home crowd or his own crowd. It's the best feeling. Being over there right after I knocked him out, I hopped on the cage and you just do your little thing. I said nobody was chanting after that, so I love it. I love being the underdog. I love that feeling. It's better than fighting in your own crowd, I'll tell you that. Anybody will say that.
Really? Like you'd rather do that? I've seen the crowd. I've seen the roars for you. You'd rather be that road warrior?
Oh yeah, I love being a road warrior if you want to call it that. I love knocking out the hometown guy. It's the best, or finishing or whatever, beating the hometown guy. I love it.
What is it? Is it the fight? Is it the competition? Like what is it that you think brings you to life in this?
No, I really don't know. I just feel like I'm built for this. My life, more than half of my life, it's been revolved around fighting. You know what I mean? So, when I was born, the umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck. So I was fighting then, and now we're here. I'm fighting still. I love it. I love the sport. I love everything about it. It's, I couldn't explain it. You got to get in there yourself one day to, you know, to feel it.
You've been fighting for that long. What's the story that your parents relay to you when they talk about your birth?
I really don't know.
Oh, they haven't told you just how panicked they were that umbilical cords wrapped around your neck?
Nah, they were just like, yeah, I don't know. I just heard a story about it, I guess.
And do I believe there's also a story where were you hit by a bus or something?
No, when I was younger, I got shot. When I was younger, I got shot when I was like about 8 years old.
Oh, wait, excuse me. I went light on the poor guy. I thought a bus hit him. It was a bullet.
Yeah.
Wait, so you got shot when you were 8 years old?
Yeah, I got shot when I was 8 years old at a little accident, but we're here now.
Did you shoot yourself?
No, no, something happened. Someone was messing around with the gun and they shot me.
How traumatic of an experience was that?
It was pretty traumatic, but as a kid, I thought I was pretty gangster. I thought it gave me street cred. So it
You
wasn't
did
that
run up
tough.
to me pretty proud of the scars when you were younger.
Oh yeah, I was showing them things off like they were new tattoos.
So you took it to heart, all these incidents, and that it's truly made you a fighter through and through.
Yeah, it's made me a dog. There's nothing more than surviving a bullet, you know what I mean? there's nothing really more than that. You know what I mean? It makes you real tough, I would say.
I'd say sure that definitely test your toughness, test your metal. I don't know. Do you have a better story that you think of what's tested your metal?
No, no, not really. You know what I mean?
I gotta say that particularly you could probably see it. You've seen several iterations of the gym come through, and I think you could acknowledge it. Starting there with Timmy, with Ray, I think Frank Baca was there, Tim Sosa was there. You
Tim
saw
Sosa.
something really special.
Oh yeah, and they also thought I was special too. You know what I mean? All these guys, growing up, they knew I had something in me that is gonna get me to the next level. You know what I mean? And I've been working hard, and I'm gonna get there.
Do you feel that that's pressure? Do you feel that's almost a privilege that you've earned?
No, I don't really feel pressure anymore. You know, before I had my daughter, I would. You know, I would think if I would lose, that no one would like me, or if I lose, that I was a loser or whatever. But now I don't really feel that anymore. I don't feel that pressure. You know, if I lose, which I don't think I'm losing in a long time, but if I lose, I come back home and I got a family that I can come home to and that loves me. You know what I mean? So a lot of pressure has came off of me. Now I just focus on the fight and you know, getting that job done.
3-fight win streak, 3 first-round finishes, and we're barely over like what 6 minutes of cage time in your 4 victories.
Yeah, yeah. You know, another thing like sparring. I've done a lot of sparring with MMA fighters, of course, but I felt like sparring with a lot of pro boxers here. You know what I mean? Sparring a lot of boxing has helped a lot. It's helped a lot. You know, I like to break down all aspects of fighting. You know, do jiu-jitsu itself, do boxing, do kickboxing. You know, I like to break it all down and then bring it all back together. And I feel like it pays off. You can see
You'll
it in
notice
my striking. You can see it in my brother's striking. You can see it in Ty's striking. You can see it in all our fighters striking. We knock people out.
you could take it back to I remember when Arlene used to take all the guys down to a Trisco boxing. Tim Means would always be telling me Brian Mendoza is my secret weapon that no one knows about.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? I was sparring when I was like 15, 16. I was sparring Matt Grego, and he's a knockout artist. You know what I mean? He hits hard, and you know, he's made me really tough as well. As a kid, I would go to the back of the locker room and I would cry in the bathroom. But you know, those days they pay off now.
Those days definitely pay off. Do you have a plan yet for, or has the team told you yet when we're going to see you back in there? It was a quick night of work in October, so I'm sure you're healthy and ready to go.
Yeah, I've been spending time with the family and stuff, resting. You know, I've had a little aches here and there that I needed to heal up during fight camp, but you'll see me soon. I don't have a date yet, but you guys will see me soon.
We look forward to that. Big things are coming. One of the brightest prospects in the state. And I can remember, man, years ago, Tim Means telling me, I think we could turn him pro now. And you were like 14, 15 years old, and he'll win fights. He was like, he will blow most of these guys out of the water. What do you think has been the biggest culmination for you for things coming together as a martial artist?
You know, again, you know, just I've had so many people to look up to that were great fighters, and I still to this day I'm training with great fighters like Ty Miller, Billy Ray, Valdez, a veteran Sherwin Price. There's still many of fighters that I'm still working with today that were very great fighters. And my gym, I feel like we don't dominate in one aspect of fighting. We're not all strikers. We're not all wrestlers, and we're not all grapplers. We all had my gym has all types of fighters. We can submit people, we can knock them out, and we can out wrestle them. You know what I mean? My gym has we're real mixed martial artists. We don't just focus on one thing. We're not all wrestlers or we're not all jiu-jitsu guys.
Definitely
We
not
all
a
have
one
kind
trick
of have our
pony.
own. Yeah, one trick pony. There you go.
What has allowed you to find your own style? Has it just been that environment that they let people work, so you've been able to find who you are?
My coaches, you know what I mean? I've been learning from, Matt, JJ, Tom Vaughn, Arlene Sanchez, Tim Means. I soak in everything I can learn, and it's just they basically built me from a kid. I grew up in there, you know what I mean? I would go there after school. I would wait until my dad was done with practice, and then fit kids would start. Then I would do fit kids. And then as a teenager, then I started to jump in with my dad in the pros. All right, I'm back. So yeah, I was jumping in with the
Amber
pros.
alert, everybody just
Yeah, I was jumping in with the pros at like 14, 15, and just soaking up knowledge. And yeah, they built me. They built me into who I am now, and I feel like I'm. They've done a great job.
they've built Hondo Gutierrez into a beast. We're going to
Yes,
continue to
sir.
see him just flares more and more on the big stage. This was just the first time, and it won't be the last time you guys hear from him. We're going to have him back on the show many more times. I thank you for taking some time out of your evening and away from the family time to give us a couple minutes.
Thank you.
You have a good night.
You too.
Hondo Gutierrez, Fit NHB. This kid has been training forever, putting in the work. There's work, there's hard work, dedication, there's talent, experience. There's a whole bunch culminating in one package from that young professional, 4-1 as a pro. He's found the LFA, FightWorld, CFFC. A lot of big things coming for him. Our last guest of the evening looks like he's here early and he's ready to go. We appreciate the promptness, being on time. He is going to be in action. Fight World 41. That is Saturday, November 22nd, Revel Entertainment Center. He represents J5 MMA. We got Dion Valdez with us right now, sir. Sorry to keep you waiting. Thank you for being on time.
You're good. How's it going?
I'm good. I'm good. How you doing tonight?
I'm pretty good. Just getting off work.
Getting off work, getting ready for the fight. What you thinking? How you feeling? What do you think about MMA?
I'm ready to go. Been training hard, man. So just really ready to step in there. I stepped in there for the first time in August, so I'm just excited to get back in there. Really, we've been training hard. I'm ready to go, man.
So August was the debut. That was the first MMA fight.
Right.
What
I
did you
fought at
learn in
Fight
that
World for
experience?
just a crazy experience for sure. And I just really wanted to feel what it would feel like to be in that type of situation because everybody talks about it, but nobody really knows what it's like to actually be in there, and wanted to do it and finally got it over with. And then now I want to keep going and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Coming out of a small town, your coach used to be a fighter. He's transitioned. What led you to the game? Like, how did you find MMA?
Well, I've always just watched it growing up, but I used to train with my coach whenever I was a kid as well. I trained with him for like a good couple years before like middle school, and then just was out of it for a long time. I always watched it, and then I kind of wanted to just get that feeling. So started training, and I was really big last year, like about 245 pounds probably, and just locked in. I started cutting a lot of weight, and I started doing jiu-jitsu tournaments. Well, I did one jiu-jitsu tournament, won that, and then wanted to step in the cage, so I cut weight to 170. Did that first fight at 170. Now I'm cutting to 155. And I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling still just as strong as I did at 170. So I'm excited to see how it plays out at 155, but I think I'm going to do really well there.
I heard there was a little bit of wrestling in your background somewhere around high school. Did it feel like a natural transition going to the mat, getting to jiu-jitsu?
It was kind of natural for me because I did jiu-jitsu before I ever did wrestling, you know, so I kind of already felt the basics of jiu-jitsu, then went to wrestling, and then came back to it. So it's kind of just natural transition. But yeah, it definitely plays a good part into jiu-jitsu for me, you know.
Was that part of the base of inspiring you, was the grappling and seeing how it could be effective to wanting to keep pursuing it?
Yeah, for sure.
Being a jiu-jitsu guy, then going and wrestling, was MMA like always kind of an intention with this, or did this kind of just happen?
Yeah, it never really was an intention. I always been really into it. I love to watch UFC, like I'm crazy over it. And like I said, I just wanted to feel that feeling because everybody could sit there on the couch and say like, "Oh, I could do that. I could do that." But can you really? No, it's not gonna just happen like that, you know? And I got to feel that feeling like just by stepping off the couch and going in there, busting it a little bit. Well, I busted my ass off really and stepped in there for the first time and got to experience that feeling. And I really like the feeling and I want to see where it goes. And I'm excited to keep going. We've been busting it in the gym and I'm excited to fight. Next weekend it's gonna be good.
You're sitting there at home, you're watching the fights. Who were the guys that you connected with? Who were the guys that inspired you?
I've been watching Charles Oliveira for a long time, like since I was like about 10, since he probably joined the UFC like 2010, 2011, whenever it was, and I've followed him for the longest time. So if I could say anybody, him, you know. But there's a lot of fighters out there for sure. Like I love like Khamzat Chimaev. I love his wrestling. Like that's an inspiration for sure to go by. But Charles Oliveira
Chimaev
for sure my
is
biggest.
like Chimaev is a beast of a wrestler. He's got this crazy cardio, this work ethic. I liked how you bring up Oliveira first because he's a huge inspiration. I think a lot of young fighters could learn from. This is a guy that came from nothing, came from a poor background. His jiu-jitsu led him to MMA, and we saw him get to the UFC, a top prospect, a lot of potential. And then you see him have these stumbles, labeled a quitter, and all of a sudden he turns things around. Somewhere around the pandemic, where really that Kevin Lee victory in front of no fans will always stick with me, for it felt like that was a moment where he turned the corner, and then we get a guy that's chanting the champ has a name, and that name is Charles Oliveira. Like, what was it that inspired you about his story? Because there's so many great elements.
Yeah, just that's the biggest thing, you know, to be able to come back from everything he took, you know, like that mentally, that's a big thing. So to be able to come back from all the negative things that were probably said towards him, it's that right there, you know, because that's the biggest thing for me. I try not to let stuff get into my head or like everybody asks, like, how you feeling? You nervous? Like, yeah, it's definitely gonna creep up on you, but I try not to let that stuff get into my head. I'd rather go out there and let the feelings happen in there, you know, and then by the time you know it, there's no feelings. You're just going to war. So it's definitely
Was that
a
a
big one.
process? Was that a process to be able to compartmentalize in that manner, to separate the thoughts that well?
Not really. Like I, the biggest thing for me was knowing that I'm fighting on this day, you know, because I've grown up fighting all my life, been in a lot of fights in the streets and stuff, and it's totally different, you know. Like I know the date I'm fighting, I know that I'm gonna fight for sure. Like anywhere else, it's just always like a bump, and you're not all of a sudden you're fighting. And so that was the hard part for sure. But I try not to let it get into my head because I didn't want to, I don't know, overthink or overdo anything before my fight and like just freak out or something, you know. But I got that feeling out of the way, and it's not gonna catch. It won't mess with me this time for sure. I don't think.
You were 270 pounds, you said a year ago?
No, like 245. That was the most I weighed. I was really
245.
big.
So we're talking about 90 pounds lighter. You'll be weighing in next Friday. Like, what kind of an accomplishment is that for you? Because that's just a huge victory in of itself. Forget the fight. That one for your life, for your health, that is massive.
Right. Now it's everything. I mean, I feel good. Like just everything about my body, you know, like not hurting all the time. I could actually go and train as hard as I do and not be hurting as bad as I used to before I was, and can move way better, you know. I'm moving way faster than I ever have, and I've never been this light probably since I was in like eighth, ninth grade. I don't know the last time I was this light, so I definitely feel good, you know, and I want to fit in right here at the 55-pound division and take it over, you know. That's my goal.
Was there a moment? Was it just the desire to compete, to do MMA? Like, what kick started the changing of your habits? Because it's probably the habits that led to being 245 pounds. Like, what
Right.
kicked you into gear to start this change?
Well, I started training and I just seen like my couple guys from my school were competing and stuff. My coach was taking a lot of people out to compete, and I was just like, shit, I want to do it, you know, like just jiu-jitsu tournament really, you know. So I started cutting weight for about, I started training probably November of 23, like kind of serious, you know, and then um or 24 actually it was really serious, and that's when I started dieting and everything. And then at the beginning of this year, in February of 2025, I did my first tournament jiu-jitsu at 190 pounds. And then me and my coach were kind of talking about it, like, let's get you in there. He was telling me, let's get you in there. Like, we're kind of training MMA and stuff, like in the mix already. And I was just cutting weight the whole time. And we ended up talking with John Judy to get a fight at 170, because I was just a step in there was really what I was wanting to do. I know I wanted to be at 55 because that's where I feel like I'm going to be best, you know. And but just a step in there, I wanted to get a fight at 170, so we took that fight, did it just for the experience, won, and now I'm excited to step in at 155 because I feel like it's where I'm supposed to be, you know.
What was the feeling like? Getting the victory, getting your hand raised after all of that hard work. Like you said, you're up a weight class, bright lights, family's all there. What was that moment like for you?
It was a best feeling probably ever, honestly, that I felt, because I had like a lot of people from my town like went out there to support me. Like, it was my first fight. Everybody's always known how I've been, so I've always had, like, everybody got excited when I was coming for me to fight. So I had a lot of people out there to support for sure, and just the amount of support I had was like the most exciting thing about it. But just to get my hand raised in front of everybody was definitely dope feeling.
A lot of what you said reflects exactly kind of some of the sentiments that your coach had expressed to me when I asked him to describe you. He'd said work ethic and determination would be the key attributes that exude, that come out of you. Like, it feels like that's pretty spot on.
Right.
Where did you get that kind of determination and that work ethic instilled?
My parents, man, I mean, my parents, they don't stop grinding. My dad busts his ass from sun up to sundown, and my mom, she's a very damn good nurse, and she grinds her ass off. And my parents are where I get it from, if I do have to say anybody, you know, for sure. But at the same time, my coach definitely pushes me too. Like, I couldn't just do it with the motivation I have, you know. I have to, my coach definitely pushes me to be able to that extra limit, you know.
And what is it like learning from somebody that's been there? He's done that, and someone that you've known, obviously, you said with the two breaks, quite a long time.
It's cool to learn from him because I know how high level of a fighter he is. Like, he trained out and fought out of that Fit NHB, the gym that you were just talking to, and I know how high level of fighters they are, and he he's the freaking like he learns stuff so crazy. Like he can learn it and he teaches it just as like, I don't know. It's crazy, but I love learning from him. Like he's a very good instructor, and yeah, I just can't thank him enough for everything he's taught me. You know.
We're talking about Joey J5 Lujan. You
Yes,
guys come
sir.
out of the northern part of the state. You're representing a small town. Does there feel like there's something else, like a motivating factor when you're representing your town? You're coming down here to Albuquerque to Fight World.
Yeah, definitely. I just want to make sure my town's known, you know, and they're gonna know who we are and where we're coming from very soon, if they don't already.
Your coach told me the striking's coming along. The grappling has always been there because of having started with the jiu-jitsu and the wrestling. What do you feel is the next goal for you as a martial artist to round out your game?
Um, I would say just all around, you know. I want to be better everywhere if I can, but I wouldn't say anything specific. Yeah, just want to be better everywhere if I possibly can, you know.
Israel Ariola is going to be the opponent. What do you
No, no, no,
expect
no.
from the fight?
That's who I fought. That's who I fought in my first fight.
Why am I looking at? Well, you're calling me out on it. Then fill us in. Who's the opponent? Because I'm
I'm
looking at the wrong
fighting
fight card.
Paul Robinson. His name is out of Desert Dynasty from Alamogordo. They're from.
All right, Paul Robinson, Desert Dynasty. We know that team well with Anthony Hudson. Talked to Richard Jennings this past weekend on ESPN Radio. We know them they have some jiu-jitsu background. They have a really good striking fundamentals. What are your thoughts then on how this fight plays out? What are you envisioning?
I'm expecting another finish. That's all I'm looking for every time I step in there, honestly. But yeah, for sure, I'm a finish him. That's the main goal.
That's the main goal. Just like out there though, not specifically this fight. Do you have like an ideal finish? Is there a dream finish that one day you want to pull off from the cage?
I'd like to finish him with the Von Flu.
Is that something you hit in the gym, or is that just kind of an out there dream?
Yeah, dream.
Ideally, would you rather be known as a knockout artist or a submission artist?
Um, I say it's gonna be a little bit of both, but if I could, probably KO.
Who's going to answer submission artist? Come on, you get the opportunity to choose. Who's not going to say knockout artist?
It's most likely gonna be a submission, but yeah, I would love to get a knockout.
It's most likely going to be a submission. You'd like to get the knockout. How are you feeling with the weight cut? Like going down the extra 15 pounds, welterweight to lightweight. It's not just the little transition.
Um, I was already weighing like 165 for my last fight, so I was only cut like about 10 pounds away, and that's like kind of about what I've been sitting out through my whole camp. So it's gonna be easy cut, I feel like, and yeah, I don't think
How
it's
did
gonna affect me at all.
how was the
I
second
feel
camp
just
better than the first one?
just evolved a lot everywhere's like I've like we like my coach said, you know, like the grappling and everything's already been good, but we just crisped up a lot of stuff, crisped up a lot of things I was doing wrong in my fight, worked on a lot of things that I felt like I really needed, you know, and so yeah, definitely feeling way better than my first camp for sure. And plus, like I have that feeling out of the way now, so I get to go in there like I don't know, just different feeling. I feel like now I'm not as anxious as I was, I guess, as the last one.
It felt like there were extra nerves just because it was the first time and you didn't know what to expect.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then there's a big crowd over there on if you would have seen the opponent that I fought, I would probably look like a plus 1,000 underdog. Like if you look at the pictures, the weigh-in pictures, everything. So like it was cool just to go out there and shock everybody and have the place like holy shit. Like it was definitely a dope feeling, you know?
You overcome a bigger opponent in the first fight. You have high expectations for the second fight. It's a big journey and it's just getting started. And I got to thank Dion Valdez for dropping by tonight ahead of Fight World 41.
Like, yeah, I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, sir. It was great getting to talk to you.
Heck yeah, thank you. We'll talk to you soon.
Dion Valdez, the first interview out of the way, an intriguing prospect coming up. It's been a while since we've seen that J5 gym, since we've seen guys coming out of that northern New Mexico area. It's time for them to come back, revive the scene. That's great to see. I'm looking forward to that one. Looking forward to a lot of great stuff. And real quick, guys, we got to take a quick timeout. We're going to be back with some final thoughts and a whole lot about what's coming up in a stacked weekend. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in about 1 minute. And we're back. Probably took me more like 85 seconds. Sorry about that, everybody. Thank you to everyone that's still hanging around in the live. Truly appreciate everyone coming on tonight. Huge shout out. Thank you to Elijah Lucero, to Gabe Bencomo. Can't wait for APFC 21. Don't worry, next week, fight week, we're still going to have some guests from the card. You can join us, Isleta Resort and Casino, on Sunday, November 23rd. UFC Fight Pass for the main card. And it's the APFC YouTube channel to watch the prelims, including the great amateurs that joined us today. A shout out to Barber Gabe's Fades, Lobo Plaza, right here, the intersection of Coors and Central in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's the northeast corner. You can go online to Barber Gabe's Fades to book your appointment today. You also got to check out Zia Stitching, his other wonderful design company that's helping out a lot of the amateurs with their t-shirts, with their shorts. They're even supporting a local basketball team. So Barber Gabe's Fades, giving back to the community. this Saturday night on the 15th of November. Many places to be. Hopefully, you'll either be downtown at the El Rey, a beautiful thing, Duke City Championship Wrestling. I believe it's Manny Lemons who's going to be challenging and looking to sour the night of the new champion, Saleh Taylor. We know that Fred Slow wants to move fastly to get some revenge after what happened about 6 weeks ago in the heinous act of dethroning Hobo Hank Forsal and their treacherous ways. There will be a day of reckoning coming to them. I tell you what. Go over to cageminds.com. Did want to have on this stream at some point Nathan Rivera, the number 2 ranked featherweight contender in BKFC. We weren't able to make it happen, so instead we did a full podcast. That one is available already up at cageminds.com. The Rivera era in full effect, and I've grilled him with the hard questions, asked him how he felt about BKFC trying to build stars. He's in the ranking, he deserves a title shot, but that might be postponed in the thought process of trying to build him to a bigger platform of notoriety in general. I think that that's a huge opportunity. We gave him the hard questions, and I love the answer. So check out that podcast with Nathan Rivera up on YouTube. We're going to share it everywhere. Coming out tomorrow, we will have the pre-fight interview with John Moreno. Went live on location to get to talk to the FightWorld Amateur Lightweight Champion ahead of his title defense. We're going to be live with James Romero ahead of fighting for the FightWorld middleweight title ahead of FightWorld 41 this Saturday on our UFC 322 watch along. He's going to join me and Rob Gutierrez. Robbie Ray Images going to be here live in studio. Before we get out of here, a couple things to go over with you guys. January 30th, Sacramento, California. WEC, MMA legend, one of the greatest featherweights of all time, and a lot of you know him as a bantamweight. The California kid, Uriah Faber, has announced he will be having one last fight in his hometown. It's going to be at the A1 Combat, his promotion. And you're going to be able to see that on UFC Fight Pass. Definitely have the news at cageminds.com as soon as it's broke to see who will be his opponent. Can history be made this weekend? Islam Makhachev, he has vacated the lightweight title, going up to welterweight to challenge Dak Della Magdalena. The Australian might have the best boxing in all of the UFC, all of MMA. Islam Makhachev, he's throwing around middleweights and heavyweights in training. Can that ferocious grappling translate into a middleweight body in a middleweight fight? So many intangibles to be known about how he'll carry the weight, how his cardio will be affected from the extra weight. If Makhachev will be able to get the takedowns in the seamless fashion that he was able to do at 155, and will he be able to hold down his opponent? Also, how will he absorb the strikes coming from Jack Della? The co-main event, Zhang Weili looks to make history. Possibly the greatest strawweight of all time. She moves up to flyweight to challenge Valentina Shevchenko. Valentina, the first UFC fighter to complete the Octagon of Rubies, the 8 title defenses, a significant moment in UFC history to truly cement herself one more time on that pedestal of all-time great UFC champions. Valentina Shevchenko just below Amanda Nunes. For those that would like to say that she is the GOAT, this is a huge step in that argument to be able to overcome Zhang Weili. Weili puts herself into that category if she becomes only the second woman to hold titles in 2 weight classes in the UFC. So much on the line in a massive card. Malcolm Wellmaker on the prelims. The kid looks like a stud, a big-time knockout artist. Erin Blanchfield, can she regain what looked like to be a surefire title shot coming her way? She lost that momentum against Manafort. What happens against Tracy Cortez? These two have been neck and neck for a long time. It is a rematch. Kyle Dawkins, we thought he had light punching. He came back to the UFC with a huge knockout. He's going to take on Gerald Meerschaert. I think he's the faster fighter. Meerschaert is a wily veteran. This one is going to be dangerous. Basangar Sursakayev, a future UFC superstar, is going to be on the prelims. Boxing fans, Ring is presenting the rematch. Chris Eubanks Jr., Connor Bentu. 60,000 people watched the first fight. You have a 6-fight card. No one has more than 3 losses on the card. You also have a combined 5 fighters with only 1 loss, 3 unbeaten prospects, a huge night of action. And not to mention, we also have BKFC 84. They're in California. The light heavyweight title is on the line. Josh Dyer defending against Lorenzo Hunt. Lorenzo never lost the title. This is a rematch. Lorenzo was too fast, hit too hard, overwhelmed Dyer in the first meeting. Dyer has taken his game to new levels. He's been a brawler in the clinch. We saw in his victory over Mike Richmond his ability to stay at distance and turn into a full, complete boxer. This is a massive main event for the BKFC light heavyweight title. Drew Struve, 3-0, coming off of a crazy knockout at home over Wilfredo Santiago Jr. His fight night spotlight worked out. He is now taking on Zev Vincent. Vincent was formerly ranked as a welterweight. This one is at middleweight. Vincent, underrated punching power. Struve, a big imposing figure for this 175-pound division. Good punching. Look forward to see what plays out in that one. You have the UFC veteran Aspen Ladd with her BKFC debut. At light heavyweight, you have 2 massive punchers as Cody Vidal takes on David Simpson. Someone goes to sleep in that one. Evgeny Kuratov has been phenomenal in his time in BKFC. Gave Julian Lane all kinds of fits. Must see when he takes on Paulo Gomes. And in the bantamweight division, David Diaz is back. The best mustache in BKFC, a tenacious fighter who can work the body and the head, is rounding himself out to be a more technical boxer from being a grinder. He's taking on Justin Martinez, who's a compact powerhouse. We saw him get a victory here in Albuquerque, New Mexico earlier in the year on a fight night card. We know he is a handful. We got some breaking news from BKFC. They will be closing out the year with 2 events. They are in Derby. They'll be going back to the UK for a UK light heavyweight championship match. It's Cook versus Holmes. CageMinds.com for more details on that one. December 20th, Mohegan Sun. Closing out the year in Connecticut, a heavyweight main event. Josh Copeland from Colorado takes on the New England representative, UFC vet Parker Porter. So that one's going to be December 20th. And Knuckle Mania has been announced. February 7th, Knuckle Mania 6, Philadelphia. BKFC going to run back the biggest show of their year for the second time in their backyard. This weekend, you don't just have the UFC. You don't just have BKFC, but there's a massive one event. 173 as they head over to the land of the rising sun. It's one championship in Tokyo, Japan. Super Bond versus Nori, a Muay Thai, 2 Muay Thai practitioners going after it in a kickboxing main event world title fight. You get flyweight MMA world title action as Joshua Pacquiao takes on Yuya Wakamatsu. Excuse me on that one. You also have Rod Tang versus Nong O. You get Christian Lee defending his MMA lightweight title against unbeaten Russian Albeg Rasul, 14-0. 2 amazing prospects. We got the 17-4 Christian Lee, who has really come into his own and won championship. A big puncher with a good wrestling base, where Albeg Rasulov is just a beast everywhere it goes. That one's going to be all action-packed. Former Bellator middleweight champion Rafael Lovato Jr. is going to be in a special feature grappling match. The most devastating submission artist to ever come out of Japan, Shinya Aoki, has a spot on the card. Former Glory champion Muraki Gorian. Stamp Fairtex returns after way too long away from dealing with a knee injury. And grappling champion Ty Rotolo in the MMA cage. So 173 from Tokyo, Japan. It's been a while since I've talked about one, and this card deserves to be talked about. Download the app, figure out how you could watch it, because that one's going to be massive. A couple other things going on around the world this weekend. LFA 122, Foxwood Resort, Mashantucket, Connecticut, Bantamweight title fight. Vinicius Pares, talented Brazilian, taking on Artem Bekla, 10-2. You also get tough winner Joe Giannetti on the card. Former CES featherweight champion Ronaldo Cavallo is going to be taking on big-time knockout artist Gustavo Pintos, and Alex Pereira's sister, Eileen Pereira, will be on the card. UAE Warriors is this weekend. They have UAE Warriors 65 women's strawweight title fight main event. Brazilian kickboxer Lainey Silva at 7-2 takes on unbeaten Brazilian jiu-jitsu ace Michelle Oliveira, who trains out of the Nova União system, coming out from under Andre Pederneiras, Jose Aldo. That lineage. You also get former LFA welterweight champion Shamakan Magomedov, 10-1 monster, who should be in the UFC on the card, and one vet, Reese McLaren, who's won 4 of his last 5 for a long time, was threatening for the one championship. He will be a part of the card. KSW, back home in Poland, KSW 112, Patrick Kromek, 12-3, won 4 of his last 5. Adam Saladov, 10-2, a 3-fight win streak, is your interim title fight main event. Polish submission legend Marcin Held fought in Bellator, fought in the UFC. He will be a part of this card. And then we're also going to have Cage Warriors 196, London, England this week. Featherweight title fight in the main event. Nick Bagley, a 5-fight win streak, takes on unbeaten Irishman Solomon Simon. Look out for that one. It's going to be crazy, exciting. UFC vet Jordan Vujicic returns to the promotion that launched him to the UFC, as he looks to be able to get back to that promotion one day. You also get a bantamweight title fight. So from Cage Warriors to KSW, UAE, LFA, One Championship, BKFC, and the major event at the end of all of it, the main course, your entree. Everything that we're looking forward to. There's UFC 322 this weekend. CageMinds.com to hear the whole live preview show. We got in depth on UFC Vegas 111, and of course, all the news from the UFC, and got in depth on the preview for UFC 322 on MMA After Hours, where I was joined by Mr. Michael Carlisle. Check that out at CageMinds.com. And I promise we do have a video element coming to that podcast soon. Tomorrow, the episode will be out. Pro Wrestling After Hours. We've got Blood and Guts coming from AEW. We've got Survivor Series, War Games coming from WWE. We preview, talk about, debate, and fantasy book a whole lot of pro wrestling. That episode out tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, John Moreno's exclusive pre-fight interview for Fight World 41 will be available. One more time, thank you, Elijah Lucero, Gabe Bencomo. See them both in action. APFC 21 on Sunday, November 23rd. Dion Valdez, catch him on the Fight World 41 card. Saturday, November 22nd at Revel Entertainment Center. You can see Freddie Fame, Fred Slow, in the ring this Saturday, November 15th, probably with a microphone in his hand, not actually competing, at Duke City Championship Wrestling. It's a beautiful thing. I'd be there if I could. Thank you to him for coming on the show, and also a shout out to upcoming prospect. Keep an eye on Hondo Gutierrez, Alejandro Gutierrez. It's been a long time in the making to see how his game is coming together and the places that young man is going. We were a couple minutes late. We almost made it a full 2 hours. Everyone that watched, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Go over to CageMinds.com and Thank you for watching.